When you know how many times you want code to run, you can use the for next loop. So for example, if I knew that I had 500 employees on a spreadsheet and I had to perform some sort of calculation on each, I would use for next. So here on the screen I have the syntax. Let me explain to you how it's used. You always want to start with the keyword there of for. Then you have a counter. Now this is going to be the variable that's going to keep track of the number of iterations or cycles or loops of the code. So after each iteration or loop, the value of this variable is going to automatically be increased by 1. Next, you have your assignment operator in there, and then you have your start. Now, this is going to represent the initial value of the counter, and it doesn't have to start with the number 1. If you're counting rows on a spreadsheet and you want to start with the 5th row, number 5, you can do that. I've got the keyword there of to, because we're looking for a range here. We need a start to end. So end is going to represent that end value for the counter. So the for next loop is going to begin counting at the start point. Then it examines whether or not the value is lower than end. And if that's the case, then it's going to run the code that you write. Now you see on that last line there, I've got next. And next increments the value by 1, and then it goes up and it examines the condition again. And this is going to keep going on or looping until after the value of the counter is equal to the end value. So once that happens, the loop stops. Let me show you an example I have here inside of Module 1. I have a really simple loop statement, super simple. The first thing I did was I declared my variable. I declared my counter. All right, so I'm declaring x as a byte because I'm using small numbers here. And I'm saying for x, my variable, my counter, is being assigned, and this is a really small loop here, 1 to 3. I want to have a message box pop up with whatever number the counter is currently on. Then I want to loop it. Then I want to go to the next x. So it's going to increase my counter by 1. So now x is going to be assigned 2. 2 is less than 3, so I'll get the message box again. It'll go down to next x. Now x is 3. 3 is equal to my end, so I'll get another message box with 3. It'll go to the next x, which is 4. 4 is greater than 3, so it'll stop or it'll exit the loop. Let me show you how this works. I'll go ahead and execute this. There's my number 1. That's the current counter that I'm at. It displayed the message box, and when I click on OK, it's going to increase my counter by 1 and then display the message box again. There's 2. I'll click on OK. There's 3. When I click on OK, it's going to increase the number, the counter, by 1 again, and I don't get the message box. It exits the loop because it's now at 4, and 4 is greater than 3. All right, so that is the setup, the syntax, and a small example of how for next works. We're going to be using it a few more times throughout the rest of this course.